Mama Bird's Sky Adventure. A nest in the sky. High up in the tallest, sparkliest tree in the glowing forest, a cozy little nest rested gently on a soft, pinkish-purple branch. Inside the nest, a mama bird with feathers as soft as clouds and as pink as twilight sky gently opened her big, sparkling eyes. She blinked once, then twice, and smiled. 3 tiny baby birds were snuggled beside her. Chirpy, Puffy, and Tiny. Each one had the roundest, cutest face, soft downy feathers, and the biggest eyes you'd ever seen, shining like stars. Their seeded beaks were as pink as jelly beans, and their little beaks were ready for kisses. "Mama," yawned Chirpy, stretching his tiny wings. "Good morning, my love bugs," cooed Mama Bird. She kissed each fluffy head and wrapped her wings around them like a warm blanket. The sky was turning golden, and a brand new day of adventure was about to begin. // As soft sunbeams peeked through the leaves, Mama Bird stood tall in the nest and sang her morning song. Her voice was gentle, like a lullaby the wind would hum to flowers. It floated through the treetops, filling the forest with joy. Her babies blinked their sleepy eyes and began to chirp along, their squeaky little voices trying to match her melody. "We love your song, Mama," chirped Puffy. "And we love you," Tiny added with a happy flap of her wings. Mama Bird giggled softly and nuzzled her beak into their fuzzy heads. "I love you more than all the clouds in the sky," she whispered. "Now stay here, my darlings. Mama's going to get you a delicious breakfast." The baby birds nodded with their shiny eyes wide open. "Okay, Mama." Mama Bird fluffed her soft feathers and gave a big stretch. She peeked over the nest, checking that the skies were clear. Then whoosh! With a graceful leap, she took off into the air, wings sparkling in the morning sun. The wind kissed her cheeks as she glided through the sky. Down below, trees shimmered like emerald candy. She dipped and swirled, looking for the juiciest berries and crunchiest seeds. But at the first bush, oh no, not a berry in sight. All the fruits were gone, gobbled up by hungry raccoons. Mama Bird looked around. "I need to find something special for my babies," she said to herself. She flapped her wings and flew deeper into the forest, the adventure only just beginning. Meanwhile, back in the nest, the baby birds were getting curious. "Where did Mama go?" Puffy asked, his eyes wide with wonder. "She's getting us food," said Chirpy, peeking over the edge. "Do you think she'll bring us sweet skyberries?" "I hope she brings marshmallow worms," giggled Tiny. The baby birds bounced around, playing with a tiny stick, pretending it was a flying snack. Suddenly, a shimmer in the air made them freeze. A single glowing feather floated down from the sky, spinning slowly like a leaf made of magic. "Ooh-hoo!" they all whispered together. The glowing feather landed gently in the nest. It sparkled with every color: blue, pink, gold, and green. It's Mama's feather. Chirpy gasped. No, it's different, Puffy said softly, tilting his head. It's magical. Tiny poked it with her wing. What does it mean? The feather shimmered again, and then, as if carried by a secret breeze, it lifted back into the air. The baby birds watched with open beaks as it floated slowly toward the edge of the tree. Should we follow it? Chirpy asked. They looked at each other. Their tiny hearts beat fast, not with fear, but with excitement. And so the adventure began, not just for Mama Bird, but for her brave little ones too. And so, with a sparkle of bravery in their big round eyes, the three baby birds looked at each other, their tiny wings trembling with excitement. Chirpy was the first to step forward. I think I can do it, he squeaked. With a gentle leap, he fluttered just a few inches off the nest, his wings flapping wildly like a soft fan on a warm day. Next came Puffy, rounder and fluffier, who gave a nervous giggle before lifting his little pink-cheeked face to the sky. I'm flying, he chirped, just before landing on his bottom. Tiny, the smallest and sparkliest of them all, wobbled a little, then flapped with all her might. Her eyes gleamed with joy, and her feathers caught the morning light like shimmering petals. One by one they left the nest edge, following the glowing feather, which danced ahead like it was leading them on a secret path through the branches. Far away from the nest, Mama Bird flew gracefully through the air, gliding over meadows and whispering treetops. Her big, expressive eyes scanned the forest below, looking for something special. Suddenly, through a curtain of vines, she saw it. A hidden grove, glowing with soft blue mist. And right in the center, a bush covered in shimmering starberries. Magical fruits that sparkled like stars and smelled sweeter than sunshine. Mama gasped with delight. Oh, my darlings will love these. She plucked the juiciest ones gently with her beak, her heart fluttering with love. But something made her pause. The wind shifted. A soft breeze kissed her feathers. And in it, she thought she heard a whisper that sounded like Chirpy. Back in the treetops, the baby birds giggled as they tiptoed along a long, bendy branch. The glowing feather floated ahead, just out of reach, spinning in slow circles like a ribbon in the wind. But then, just as Puffy reached out his tiny wing to catch it, puff, the feather vanished in a swirl of twinkling sparkles. The babies froze. Where did it go? Chirpy asked, blinking. Tiny looked around. Maybe it's playing hide and seek. They searched behind leaves and under mossy twigs, but there was no sign of the magical feather. The forest suddenly felt bigger and a little quieter. Still, their eyes shone bright with wonder. We have to keep going, Puffy said bravely. Maybe it wants us to find something even more magical. Just as they turned the corner of a big oak branch, something small and round rolled into their path. It wobbled, then stopped. The babies gasped. It was an acorn. But not just any acorn. This one had tiny eyes, a cheerful smile, and little stick arms that waved in the air. "Hello there," said the acorn in a squeaky, jiggly voice. "I'm Nibby. Are you looking for a magical feather?" The baby birds blinked in surprise. "You can talk," chirped Tiny. "Of course," Nibby laughed. "This forest is full of wonders if you believe in them." He hopped up. "The feather was just your guide. The real path lies ahead. Follow the flutterflies." The birds looked up and saw tiny glowing flutterflies twinkling through the air like floating stars. With wide eyes and excited chirps, the baby birds followed Nibby toward their next adventure. High above the forest, Mama Bird gently wrapped starberries in a leaf bundle. Just as she turned to fly back, a swirl of wind brushed against her cheeks. This time, she didn't just hear a whisper, she felt it. 3 soft giggles echoed through the breeze. And for a moment she saw them, her babies, fluttering through the woods, laughing, glowing with curiosity and courage. Her heart skipped a beat. "They're out there," she whispered to herself, wings trembling. "My little ones are on their own adventure." With love and a little worry, she soared into the wind, following the trail of sparkles left behind. "I'm coming, babies." Nibby the acorn bounced ahead, leading the baby birds to a curious hole at the base of a giant, ancient tree. Tiny peeked in. "It's glowing," she gasped. The inside shimmered with soft golden lights, like stars trapped in the bark. "This is the twinkling tunnel," Nibby whispered. "It only appears when someone truly believes in their journey." Chirpy gulped. "It's kind of sparkly scary." Puffy held his wing. "We're together." They stepped in, giggling, blinking wide-eyed. Inside, the glowing lights hummed like lullabies, and the walls sparkled with reflections of baby birds flying through the sky. Tiny gasped. "It's showing us what we can become." Their faces lit up with courage. By the time they stepped out the other side, their little wings didn't feel so little anymore. As Mama Bird glided faster through the sky, the wind suddenly stopped. Completely. Not a breeze. Not a whisper. A glowing figure appeared before her, shaped like mist and light, with feathers made of wind itself. "I am the Windkeeper," the voice said gently. "Your children are safe, but they are walking the path meant for dreamers." Mama's heart thudded. "They're just babies." "They are more than that," the Windkeeper smiled. "They are brave, and their hearts are full of magic." Then, with a gentle swirl, the Windkeeper gave her a single glowing feather, the same kind the babies had followed. "Trust them, but follow this, and you'll find your way." Mama Bird clutched the feather to her chest and soared ahead, faster than ever before. Nibby led the baby birds down to a stream that glowed like melted moonlight. At the edge floated a huge, wide leaf with curled edges, like a little boat made just for them. "We have to cross the stream," Nibby said with a grin. "Do leaves float?" asked Puffy. "Only if they're sleepy," giggled Nibby, and he jumped on board. One by one, the baby birds followed, their eyes huge and amazed as the boat drifted gently into the glowing current. They lay back, watching glowing butterflies swirl above them, the stars blinking between the branches. Tiny whispered, "This is the dreamiest ride ever." And for a moment everything was quiet, peaceful, and full of wonder. Scene 14. The Cracking Sky Tree. Narration. Suddenly, crack! A distant rumble shook the treetops as the sky above them flickered with lightning. Not scary but magical, like golden threads weaving across the clouds. The boat floated toward a tree so tall it touched the clouds. "The sky tree," Nibby whispered. "It's waking up." The babies looked up, their big eyes reflecting the sparks. Branches began to twist open like arms stretching after a long nap, and a glowing staircase appeared along the trunk. "This is the test," Nibby said. "Climb it, and you'll see who you really are." With hearts pounding, the three baby birds began their ascent, one brave step at a time. Mama Bird reached the base of the same sky tree. She could feel them, her babies were here. She tilted her head back, placed her wings over her heart and sang. A soft, pure melody poured from her beak, full of love, hope, and magic. It floated up the trunk, around the glowing staircase, wrapping around her babies like a warm hug. Chirpy stopped and gasped. "Mama!" Puffy's eyes filled with tears. "She's close," Tiny whispered. "She's singing us home." And with her song guiding them, the baby birds climbed faster, their courage glowing like fireflies in the night. Nibby led the baby birds down to a stream that glowed like melted moonlight. At the edge floated a huge, wide leaf with curled edges, like a little boat made just for them. "We have to cross the stream," Nibby said with a grin. "Do leaves float?" asked Puffy. "Only if they're sleepy," giggled Nibby, and he jumped on board. One by one, the baby birds followed, their eyes huge and amazed as the boat drifted gently into the glowing current. They lay back, watching glowing butterflies swirl above them, the stars blinking between the branches. Tiny whispered, "This is the dreamiest ride ever." And for a moment everything was quiet, peaceful, and full of wonder. Suddenly, crack! A distant rumble shook the treetops as the sky above them flickered with lightning. Not scary but magical, like golden threads weaving across the clouds. The boat floated toward a tree so tall it touched the clouds. "The sky tree," Nibby whispered. "It's waking up." The babies looked up, their big eyes reflecting the sparks. Branches began to twist open like arms stretching after a long nap, and a glowing staircase appeared along the trunk. "This is the test," Nibby said. "Climb it, and you'll see who you really are." With hearts pounding, the three baby birds began their ascent, one brave step at a time. Far below, Mama Bird reached the base of the same sky tree. She could feel them, her babies were here. She tilted her head back, placed her wings over her heart and sang. A soft, pure melody poured from her beak, full of love, hope, and magic. It floated up the trunk, around the glowing staircase, wrapping around her babies like a warm hug. Chirpy stopped and gasped. "Mama!" Puffy's eyes filled with tears. "She's close," Tiny whispered. "She's singing us home." And with her song guiding them, the baby birds climbed faster, their courage glowing like fireflies in the night, full of emotion, wonder, and a warm bedtime ending. Tiny, Chirpy, and Puffy finally reached the top. They stood on a platform made of soft clouds and golden leaves, overlooking the entire glowing forest below. Their tiny wings sparkled in the starlight. Their eyes, wide and filled with awe, gazed across the world for the very first time. Puffy whispered, "We did it." Just then, the glowing feather Mama carried floated past them, swirling in the wind, and a familiar silhouette soared into view. "Mama!" All three shouted together, their voices full of joy. Mama Bird landed gently beside them. She wrapped her wings around her three babies, holding them close. Puffy pressed into her chest, Chirpy nuzzled her cheek, and Tiny whispered, "We were so brave, Mama." Tears shimmered in Mama's eyes. "You were, and I'm so proud." They sat together on that magical perch, hearts beating together, feathers glowing softly, surrounded by stars and sky. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, almost like the forest itself was sighing in happiness. As they snuggled together, the Windkeeper appeared once more, floating above the clouds. "You have shown courage," he said, "and a heart full of love." From the sky, he let fall a sparkling feather for each baby bird. "These are sky feathers," he said. "When the world feels too big, they will remind you how strong and magical you are." Tiny, Chirpy, and Puffy hugged their feathers tight. Mama Bird bowed her head. "Thank you for keeping them safe." The Windkeeper smiled and disappeared into the breeze. With the stars lighting their way, Mama Bird lifted off, her babies flapping beside her for the first time, their wings catching the wind with new strength. They glided through glowing clouds, dipped past moonbeams, and laughed together as they soared home. Below them, the twinkling tunnel shimmered. The sleepy leaf boat waved. Even the sky tree gave a gentle, golden glow. They weren't just babies anymore. They were little flyers, with hearts full of dreams. As they landed back in the cozy nest, the soft petals wrapped around them like blankets. Mama Bird tucked them in close, their little heads resting against her soft feathers. Outside, the wind sang a lullaby. Inside, three brave baby birds yawned, smiled, and drifted into the sweetest sleep. Tiny whispered sleepily, "Mama." "Yes, my love. That was the best day ever." Mama smiled, kissed each baby on their pink cheeks and said, "And tomorrow will be even more magical." End.